Awesome. I'm here with Jenny Straub of Outdoor Cap, and Jenny, I'm so happy and glad to get you on. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while, but how are you doing? How's your year going by so far?
It's going great. I was so lucky to see you at the ASI show in Chicago and meet your daughter. It's been a summer of really high activity. I was out 12 weeks since April 1st. And so I'm kind of excited because for the month of September, I'm not traveling. So I can do things like
Nice.
this with you and get caught up on some things and projects that have just been kind of waiting for me. So I'm excited. How's your summer been?
I'm probably more excited about the future of our industry now than I have been in quite a while because it's like everybody knows what they want to do and everybody's really, really got their eye on the prize and on the future.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, we're just seeing that in all of the events that we've attended. Well, you could hardly get into our booth at the
I
ASI
know, I
Chicago
know.
show because they're just thirsty for the contact and thirsty for information to get things back on track. They're lasered in, like you said, focused and ready to get back to more normalcy and back to a more intense way to sell.
It was a really, really solid show from that point. There wasn't a lot of like, tire kicking or, that kind of thing. It was people there ready to focus and get to work. So,
And I really think that the appreciation is back. I can't count the many times and people came up and said, "Thank you for coming. Thank you for attending. Thank you for not canceling." And for us, it was probably our best show that we've had in a long time. We hadn't done the ASI show in Chicago even prior to 2019. We last time we were there is 2018, and this year was just phenomenal.
that's awesome. Well, kind of as what we're talking about here, I think we've all kind of talked at length. I know I have about how everybody made it through 2020, 2021. But, I wanted to get your take on this. How did you guys navigate the unprecedented worldwide COVID impact of shutdowns, business closures, staffing, supply chain, and everything else that came to the fore?
What we decided to do is we quickly met with our marketing team, probably like early on March, and said, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to dig in our heels and really kind of show people the value of headwear? Or are we going to just kind of lay low and not advertise really because it's kind of a sensitive subject? And we collectively said, no, let's dig our heels in and let's go for it. And so when we were brainstorming, we came up with the idea of having a webinar. We were just learning Zoom like the rest of the world. And so we created these Cappy hours. And I'll never forget, it was April 1st in 2020. We had our first Cappy hour, and there was 400 people on that webinar, and we based it
Wow.
on how long did they stay. I mean, that's fine, people can jump on, but how long did they stay? And I mean, I would say 80% of them stayed the entire time, which can kind of tell you two things. One, they weren't really going and selling anything to people, but two, they found it interesting enough to say, hey, I want to learn what the value of headwear is, and what does this mean in the future for my company. And so this really sparked another flow that we didn't really expect, because then what we had is our strategic accounts reached out to us afterwards and said, "Oh my gosh, we heard you had a great happy hour. Can you do it just for our teams?" And so we're like, "Okay, and there would be times, Ian, that we would have 2 and 3 webinars a week. We ended up having a total of 42 it was, for in the 8 months. And so, I feel like that helped fill the pipeline and really helped us kind of gain momentum on maybe some of our competitors that weren't really kind of going all in. The other thing too is, I mean, I cannot believe our IT department and the way that they shifted and got everybody working from home pretty seamlessly. It was just absolutely amazing the amount of equipment that outdoor cap invested in and really ramped up everybody to work from home. What we've done is just kind of gone back to that same way because IT had everything set up. So it's really just kind of a smooth transition for anybody that works from home. Of course, supply chain saw its worst days. One of our containers fell over into the ocean, so try to tell the New York Yankees that their caps were in that container and they will be getting no caps. I mean,
Oh my
that
gosh.
I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, nothing could be as worse as that, you know? Um, those are some of those horror stories that you think, well, we'll never get past this. Our head of purchasing, she's just one of these incredible people that's just even keeled, steady, and she just tried to communicate as much as possible to the sales team with, where were things, what's going on, sending us videos. I mean, anything that would educate us because she really expected us to in turn around and educate our distributors. And I thought that was really important. We're seeing the results of all of this communication and all of the building of the webinars and things. I mean, our business has not stopped um, since we started seeing kind of an uptick more towards the end of the summer in 2021, and it's just been off the charts.
Oh, it's fantastic to hear. I like the idea of those Cappy hours. Did you guys record and save those, or have those like anywhere on your site where people can reach those?
So they still are under resources on our website. I'll never forget. I was at um, a national sales meeting, and this woman walked in, and it was one of those EME kind of styles. And she's like, I'm just going to be honest with you. When someone calls me for a cap, I literally have a panic attack. So I did suggest to her, go on and see Cappy hours because we did like headwear 101. We did a value of headwear. Then we started going into our decoration methods and then styles. It's fun for me to look back and see how we were April 1st and just like stiff and like not comfortable to like even 3 months after that, we're just all relaxed, kind of laughing, and that was a great transformation for our team to see. And so you'll see all of that even in the, under resources. So you can see the download of you can download the actual presentation and then you can also listen to it as well.
Oh, killer, killer. Are you gonna guys continue doing this type of stuff going forward?
We've been so busy doing actual in person. We haven't really drummed up Happy Hour again, but we are doing a lot of end user shows for distributors that are online. We're still engaged in EME Wired. We do Soapbox, we do Sage and PPAI virtual shows. So for us, we've just using those types of companies as our kind of virtual, way to go about it. Who knows? We might do a Cappy Hour 2.0.
So, going through this, you're talking about you guys getting used to doing basically all of the things that you had to bring to the fore to deal with the lockdowns, the COVID, all of that stuff, from working from home to doing these virtual type presentations. Has any of that affected the type of products you're offering? Have you had to expand or contract what's available? I know before we started the video, you mentioned some of the cold weather gear that you guys have, that you just only have the inventory for just that type of season. Has COVID affected any of that?
During COVID, when everyone was bringing in all kinds of PPE stuff, we said, okay, we're going to stay true. And if it's headwear, okay, you put a mask kind of on your head in a way, right? We offered masks, but the great invention that we had was it was a baseball cap and we had buttons put on both sides so that your mask could loop on it. And that was hugely popular. We didn't order a ton of inventory, but it was just almost a novelty in a sense, but we stayed true to the fact that we're the experts in headwear and that's what we're going to remain. We eat, sleep, and breathe headwear here. We have three different divisions. We have our retail division, we have our team division, and then promo. So all three of us, work kind of collectively together, and we might be able to show you different types of decoration methods and things like that, but we never changed our product mix, so to speak.
During that time, did you have distributors really asking you guys if you're going to bring more of the PPE stuff in or that, or were they fine with you guys being the headwear experts through all of that?
Yeah, I don't think we had like an overabundance of it, quite like some of your companies that have multiple categories. Since we just have one category, we really didn't have a ton of customers asking us, "Hey, do you have, you know, sanitizer or anything else?" Just they were happy that we were offering masks, and then that the button cap, and then we did have one that had the shield. Um but I wouldn't say we sold hundreds of thousands of them, but we had some good sales from it.
Okay. Well, one of the lessons learned over the last few years is that customer service is key. And we've seen some of the insane things that distributors have done to take care of their buyers when they had no other options. And I think this has really pulled the curtain back on suppliers, as well as this is something that we at Promo EQP have said for a long time, that not all suppliers are created equal. I know Outdoor Cap has definitely made customer service in the face of staff shortages and supply chain issues a real focus. Um, what's your philosophy on this? How do you apply that philosophy?
With customer services always is, it's the other leg of sales, right? And we've always strived to have the best customer experience, by constant training, communications within our team network. And one of our pillars of Outdoor Cap is to guide with honesty and integrity. And if we've made a mistake, we're going to do everything we can in our power to make it right. Sometimes that's challenging at times. And then I think the other part of customer service too is that education to the customer. I mean, I can't count how many times someone will email me and say, "Hey Jenny, can you help me? I need a cap." Period. Like, okay, well, let's start from the beginning and let's say, okay, what type of cap? What's your closure? Those types of things. But if we're not constantly educating our customers on exactly what they need to ask their end user, that falls on sales because then it doesn't allow for customer service to be really good and successful. The one thing that we really did do is in 2020 we created an inside sales team, and they're situated within our networks. And so, why it works really well for us, Ian, is because that inside salesperson, we've taught them and trained them even a little bit further to say, hey, you're the advocate for the customer, and you're going to try to get all of these parts working towards the common goal of helping them. And that has been really instrumental.
Well, what are some examples of how you've gone to the mat for a distributor? We all have failures, we mess up. How have you handled some of these, and how does that inform your outlook in general?
There's going to be failures, and I try to explain to customer service and our inside sales team, like, look, let's put things in perspective. Think about all of the orders that have gone right and you're just not hearing about it, and you're so focused on the trouble between this one particular order. But remember, we've succeeded in lots of other ways. An event was going to happen on a Tuesday and it was Friday. And, our inside salesperson was like, look, I mean, I cannot disappoint this customer. I don't know what else to do. And so the patch team decided that they would come in at 5 a.m. on a Saturday and just crank through it. So I think there were four of them that came in, and they just they were laser focused on that one order so that it could go out and make it to the event on time. And the multi-line rep, he was just so thrilled that we could really show that customer that they meant so much to us, that he on Monday bought the whole patch team pizzas, and the inside salesperson coordinated it and things like that. So we want to create raving fans. We'll do whatever we can um, to really go to bat for our customer. I'm just happy to help. That's the mindset, and I know it's partly Southern, but I think it's really truly outdoor cap as well.
It's funny I bring this up only because I've seen outdoor caps specifically. You guys go to the mat for some customers that were, you know, went above and beyond what I thought, and it's refreshing to see a supplier do that because I see distributors do that. Seen distributors just to keep their business afloat through the last 2 years. There was one guy who was driving like I think it was 600 miles one way once a month just to make a delivery to his customer because there wasn't a shipping option that made sense. So
Wow.
just to keep his buyer happy, he made that trip one way once a month for like something like 6 months or something like that until they got shipping straightened out. But the things people will do to take care of their buyer, and I think that's the one of the things I love about this industry is at the end of the day, we're all just hustlers, all of us are doing what you got to do.
It really, I mean, our production team, I mean, they are so customer focused. It's like, okay, how can I help? Or what's the situation? I mean, they're always open to hear the story. And so we try from a sales perspective and customer service to share with them, hey, look, this person sent a picture of all of the people receiving the caps and they were happy, or trying to we send like recaps to the whole team so that they can read like, oh, so and so Justina went to that particular customer and did a presentation. Wow, so they see the whole picture instead of just one little part of their piece of the
Yeah,
pie that
it
serves the
helps fill
whole.
it in.
There's some sleepless nights. I mean, if I've seen you at a show, or we've made, a relationship building and we've disappointed you in some way, shape, or form, I'm you can better believe I'm waking up in the middle of the night thinking about it. And I know a lot of our customer service team, or even our production team is like that as well. So um, that's why Advil PM is my friend.
Yeah, self-medication can really go a long way. You guys have been around a long time. Outdoor Cap's been around for decades, and it's still independently owned. That's correct?
That's correct. We're celebrating our 45th anniversary this
How have
year.
you guys navigated the field of consolidation that's been moving through the industry over the last decades? As we see a lot of consolidation with companies becoming part of larger groups and stuff. And it seems like you guys have kind of stayed away from that a little bit. Was there a thought process behind that, or are you guys determined to be independent, or just the right thing hasn't come up yet?
Well, there is a lot of consolidations, and there's, you know, so much talk, and the big guys keep getting bigger and things like that. But, we're a company that's been owned by one person. His name's Paul Mahan. He's just an amazing, amazing human being, and he's really built his leadership team to be as amazing as well. And the fact is, like I mentioned earlier, we do have a retail side, a team side, and then also promo. Now, our team, we do own all the MLB licenses. It's for off field. So, in other words, if you're going to be going to Walmart and you're going to in your hometown, you're going to see, let's just say if it's the Cincinnati Reds, if I were in Cincinnati, I would see a Cincinnati Reds cap. It's not going to say outdoor cap. It's going to have the MLB, um, all the tags and things like that, but we're the ones that put that on the shelf. So that relationship is very strong, as well as retail. I mean, every large retailer we're in. Now we create things for like Wrangler, and then we have a humongous value added section that, everything that comes in has to have a tag, a label, and then it goes back out to the individual stores. So we've handled that for so many years. We have a new CEO. Her name is Janelle Harris, and she's just phenomenal. She really believes in the employee experience so much that we have a department now that is employee experience. And there's 3 dedicated team members that really take the time to make sure our employees are happy. We have chaplains that come around twice a week. It's a way that you can just talk about personal things or things like that. And just those little things, I was really impressed when the price of gas was rising. They decided that, hey, we're going to give a gas stipend, $30 every other week in your check without taxes taken out. And it was for the essential workers. Any of the office people, we could work from home. But I just almost teared up when I first heard about it because I was just like,
Yeah.
that is so amazing. So, I mean, it starts with, our owner who's been so generous for so long, not only to his employees, but to the community. Even if we were approached to consolidate or anything like that, I would think it would be a hard no for Outdoor Cap.
You're talking about how you guys are looking at stuff. The last couple of years, I've really seen suppliers look at every single penny with fresh eyes. Distributors too. Everybody had to look at every single dollar coming in and know that it had a home. you know, at Promo EQP, I've been hearing more and more about suppliers taking a second look at things which had previously been seen as just the cost of doing business, right? Such as rebate programs, and now openly question whether money spent on these types of assumed costs would be better spent reinvesting back in the company. What is Outdoor Cap's position on this, Ben? Are you looking at some of these pay-to-play type of arrangements with fresh eyes, or do you see this as a necessary evil which won't ever we're just not going to get away from as an industry?
I think that's a great question because it's one that's we discuss, to say, okay, is this worth it, and how do we know it's worth it? So we have an excellent business intelligence team. We're looking at every dollar, like, okay, if we do go to this, let's just say the ASI show in Chicago, how can we get a smaller booth, and what does that look like? And if we do an event, our business intelligence team can navigate it to where we know these people attended, and we're going to track their sales for the next 3 to 6 months. We did notice an event we kept attending, pretty pricey, you know, it would be really strong, and then 6 months down the road, it would plummet, right? And so we said, it's not worth the investment. Let's try to change and do something different. The other thing too is hoping that you don't look at the same thing all the time. So at PPAI, we're like, okay, so many people are canceling, but we want to give the people that are there an experience, and what does that look like? And so we did the patch experience, and so you got to choose your own cap from a whole wall of caps, and you got to choose your own patches. Of course, we had to make those up ahead of time, but you got to have your own basically custom made cap for yourself, and then you just stood in line and we applied the patch to it, heat sealed them, and I mean, Ian, we I mean, we couldn't even see our booth because there were so many people in it. And it wasn't necessarily that they were waiting in line because we had the line in the back. It was just people saw movement and they wanted to be a part of it. So that was a huge hit. So you can better believe we're going to do it again and we're going to streamline it. um, but people liked it because it wasn't like, oh, I came to your booth, you talked to me about this. I mean, we were able to give them a reason to stay, and that was the fun of it.
It's like the old restaurant adage: when you first open for the day, seat the new first customers near the windows, so people see people in there. um,
Yeah, and I mean, how many times have you gone past a booth and someone's sitting there on the chair
Board.
on
Yeah.
their phone? I mean, we don't allow chairs in our booth. I mean, we have them for like say PPAI if they want to sit at we have like a circular barish looking thing and there's chairs there if people want to sit. But the seats are not for the salespeople, put it that way.
Well, then I guess that leads me to the last question, which is what's next for Outdoor Cap?
Yeah, so I mean, what's next for Outdoor Cap? First of all, we really see the potential of great growth with promo EQP. When we were offline, we were talking about how much success promo EQP and Outdoor Cap has had together. I mean, up 30%. I mean, you can't argue that. And I think it's just really gaining that exposure. That's my thing that I love to say to people is like one cap gets over 3,400 impressions. And if you times that by 48 pieces, which is what our minimum order is, that's over 163,200 impressions for one order of caps. Those aren't our statistics, those are PPAI and ASI statistics. But as far as like future, we're really leaning into our new MC360, which is a way to pump up your customers with a pre-virtual sample to them. It showcases our embroidery and our patches, and it's so much fun. And that's on our website too. It's all very interactive and very user friendly. And then, like I mentioned before, we said that we're waiting to launch our new caps, but we have about 15. I just verified it with our product development person who's excellent. And I really have not been so excited about a line because it's just fresh and it's new. We already know what our retailers are picking for fall of 2023. Some of the development has already gone into 2024. So, as the promo sales team, we get to decide. Our competitors sometimes say, oh, we go and shop the stores all the time and look at the caps and look what the trends are. Well, Outdoor Cap put those trends on the shelf.
Well, this is fantastic. I really enjoyed everything we've done. Unless you've got anything else.
Just want to say we appreciate, promo EQP. I mean, of course, I see the name Ian, and that's our son's name, Ian. So I'm like, oh, now wanting money. But we just really appreciate the partnership. And I just think that there's even so much more room for growth, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Awesome. We're excited to have you. Jenny, what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of Outdoor Cap if they need to place an order, do a spec sample, something like that?
Yeah, sure. So we have just a general email, which is custom@outdoorcap.com. So again, that's custom@outdoorcap.com. And then also, I can send you, Ian, the map of the United States that has all of our inside sales team
Oh,
listed.
perfect.
So it's all color coded. So it's really easy. Because if they're going to send it to me, I'm just going to forward it out to them. And then again, we have promooutdoorcap.com is our website. And I really encourage you to use the My Customizer. You're just going to see that within the actual style name, just a button to press. And you can play around. You can put a patch on something. You can put it over in the corner, in the middle, those types of things. It's kind of fun. Um, you can kind of be like, okay, what have I been doing for the last, half an hour? I've used this on five of my customers or whatever, but I really encourage that too.
Well, definitely. Jenny, I just want to thank you so much for being a part of the Promo EQP family. I know our folks love working with Outdoor Cap. And thank you for your time today for coming on and talking with us and explaining a little more about yourselves.
It's been my
Appreciate it.
pleasure.